Right. Goodness. Okay, that's a new one. Can I see like a comparison? I see the comparison between whatever the heck this is and whatever the heck that is. No, changing the graphical settings doesn't even break everything. Okay. Okay, when I made the joke about you breaking the game, I didn't actually mean it. Let's just leave it there and not let anything else get broken. Right, never mind. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to something called Edwardo, which is, as you can tell by these words, if you are a reader of words, this is made by the people that made Guardian Angel and Saber Beast. And when I heard that they'd released something else, I was quite excited to play it. And it seems to be a little bit different from anything they've made before, because apparently this has some elements of comedy in it, which is going to be interesting to see them take on something a little bit unlike what they've done before. And I'm also kind of hoping it's going to be unlike what they've done before, because I don't really have the time in my day at the moment in order to play an immensely difficult game. So I'm hoping that this is just going to be sort of reasonably difficult, but that's enough prattle. Let's get on with the game. Oh yes, I also forgot to mention this is some sort of a demo. Right, this is a demo version of the game. I'm currently working on adding new content to the Steam full version of the game. Also, I think this is the first of their games that are going to end up on Steam. Yada yada yada. It takes lots of time. It always does, especially since it has been mostly worked on by just one person. Yada yada youpty. Blah 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 blah. Yes, of course the game is good. It's going to be good. Take your time and make it good. Don't make it quickly. Is the general advice. Right. Yes, I think this is our character here, Edwardo, or possibly he's the enemy, or he's the protagonist, or he's my aunt. I don't know. I don't have the answers to these questions. Maybe we'll find them out when we actually get on with the game. I think it has something to do with some stealth in there as well.
Are you sure you're ready for this? Yes, Dion. Remember, we need you to search every nook and cranny for samples. Collect as much as you can find, and hopefully one of them gives us a match. Then we will finally have what we need to lock this bastard, Edwardo, up. Please, be careful. I've faced death more times than I can count. I'll be fine. Good luck.
So Tony has the most Tony voice in the world. That is a marvelous thing. Oh gosh, sorry, I'm having Saber Beast flashbacks, and they're quite painful, like deep down in my core. Right, what did this say? Oh yeah, tab for controls. Right, 0 of 12. That must be the number of samples I'm looking for. One is it lighter. Do I have that? Can I use that somehow? Yes, there we are. I must admit, I'm not a smoker. I don't know how you turn on lighters, but I'm pretty sure you don't do it by doing this. Pretty sure you do it by doing that, but never mind. What would I know? What else have we got? A UV light. Okay, again, I don't see how this is going to help, other than for examining just how much of a dirty boy Edwardo is. Unequip items with X, E and F for interact with stuff. That sounds cool enough. Right, what else have we got? Right click to turn on or off device. Right, let's go back to the lighter, he says, immediately forgetting what buttons is what. There we are, so we can see what's going on. Oh, goodness. Again with the flashbacks. Right. What are the samples we're looking for? Samples of DNA? Samples of booze? Samples of audio? I have absolutely no idea. Some padlocks, some paper, many keys. Oh, finally, a key in an indie horror game that you don't need. That makes a lovely change. Oh, okay, you kind of got to hold down in order to actually get the doors to open properly, rather than just click on them. Okay, this could be interesting. If the items that you're looking for are in these little drawers, then you potentially are going to have to go a little bit more slowly at this than past games by these developers, which have always been about going quite quickly and being very efficient and having a very solid understanding of the mechanics if you can grasp them. This is assuming that these little drawers aren't just for sort of flavour. That assuming that's not the case, that might slow you down a bit. But who knows? Let us see what is going on down here in the dark. Oh my giddy aunt. Okay, maybe this is going to be a little bit closer related to Saber Beast than I initially anticipated. Okay, it seems to be a sort of a brewery, judging by all the vats and the bottles and such like. But at least Tony's very pleased about the situation, judging from his hand gestures. Okay, so that's where we started from. Up there. We could throw ourselves down here into the dungeon in the basement should we be feeling particularly kinky that evening. That's probably because I'm waffling on. Ah, I think I see a pair of feet. Yes, I have seen his feet. Excellent. How do I tell you that I don't wish to particularly see the rest of him? Yes, of course I do, because I want to admire the ingenuity of the character design. We can crouch as well by pressing control, though actually we seem to go down so very far that we may actually be proning. I might turn that off while I am doing sneakiness. This is. I am wondering what this is for. This must serve some sort of purpose. Do I need this in order to find my samples? Is this like the metal detector? It seems Edwardo is wearing a pair of tap dancing shoes, judging by all the noise he's making. I still haven't found a single sample. Anything in any of these ones? Anything at all? No? I admire the number of openable cupboards. I admire the attention to detail. I don't really admire the exposed plumbing, but yes, I'm just a little confused. A little confused at exactly what it is I'm looking for, and how it is exactly I'm supposed to find. Oh, giddy yards. Well, this is the situation. It would appear I have been thoroughly minced.
Sure you're ready for this?
Yes. We've been through that. Thank you very much. We figured that much out. How do I turn this thing on again? There we are. Right. Okay, so once again I'm looking for samples. But I have not a baldy is what they are. Okay, I'm going to crouch. No, I'm not, because that makes me go far too slow. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to crouch. I'm going to try and be a little tiny bit more sneaky. And actually pay attention to the audio. Because I imagine that's going to be very important for figuring out what's going on. So, I'll shut the door behind me. Hi, friend! Giddy aunt, that's a face and a half that I didn't need to see. Okay. What are these samples? What am I looking for? I have no idea. Still got no idea what this is used for either. Hang on a minute. Wait, where's it gone? Where's my UV light gone? Why did that just vanish into thin air for a minute? You worried me. Don't do that. Okay, right. I'm going to try and be a bit more stealthy while I'm out in the corridors. And then actually turn the lights on when these things would ever shut properly.
Where'd you
Right.
go?
Ah. Nowhere. Oh, hi. Yes, it's alright. I figured out the fact that you've killed me. Right. Excellent. Giddy aunt. So, surprise, surprise. This is difficult. Right, okay. I don't know. I haven't got a baldies. I haven't got a clue what I'm doing or even why I'm doing it, frankly. Other than we're trying to lock up this man for some sort of horrible crime he's done, even though I sound more like a mobster than he does. But at least he's the one with the Tommy gun. So I suppose it all comes together one way or the other. Okay. Yes. I think there's going to be more stealth in this game than has been in previous ones. Which is a shame, because I'm quite rubbish at stealth. But never mind. We're just going to have to try and inevitably fail, but try anyway, because at least then I can be vaguely less ashamed of myself and my existence. So it seemed like this area was a hotel with all the little bedrooms and ensuite bathrooms. So that seems to be the context of the area we're in. But then why would there be a hotel in a brewery with doors that you can barely shut? Thank you. What do we have here? Why would you want a picture of your own bathroom? And what? This man must be very popular around here. Or at least with the hotel management. Is that a sample? Like a sample of evidence? Perhaps? Can I use my UV light on this? Does that help? Nope. I have no idea. None at all. This is going swimmingly. Oh gosh. Okay, so there's nothing further up this corridor, so I need to listen carefully. This is going to be difficult if this thing doesn't stop falling out my ear. Okay, he's down there at the minute, so let's go in the complete opposite direction, because that's how much of a big brave boy I am. Okay, we should be far enough away that we can wander around with the light on, and he shouldn't pester us until he inevitably turns up a few minutes later.
I dug a grave just for you. Son of a bitch!
Giddy aunt.
Go
Just
fuck
gonna
your
hide
mother.
behind the bed. Hide behind the bed. Hide under the bed, frankly. And just wait for the inevitable embrace of death. That sounded like a good noise, so I'm going to guess, I'm going to pray, my giddy aunt, that I'm safe for the time being. Right, okay, giddy aunt. I guess I'm looking for samples of evidence if we're trying to, get him locked up. So I'm looking for some, evidence of a crime, a bit like we were in Only Darkness, or Only in Darkness, whatever the heck it was called. Because there we were looking for sort of samples of evidence, I think. There we go. Giddy on. These door mechanics are not easy to wrap my head around. Here we are. No, we aren't. Giddy aunt. I thought we'd found something, but no. Turns out we'd found nothing at all. Can I hide under here? Yes, I could. This looks like a good hiding spot. An excellent hiding spot, in fact. Right. This is an odd hotel room to book. Given that, given there's no bed. Could I use the UV light on this? No? In here? No? What about in the safe? Goodness, it's dark. Does that illuminate anything? No, it doesn't. It must serve some sort of purpose, right? Like, it wouldn't just be here for no reason. If there's any one thing I know about this developer, it's that they programmed that in there for some reason. Okay, if there's only one thing I know... There's one thing I know about this developer, it's that they do not just put stuff in for the sake of it. Oh goodness, he's seen me. Close the door, close the door. Thank you very much. Oh good, I backed myself into a dead end. Oh gosh. Yes, there's one thing I know about this developer, is that they don't put stuff in just for the sake of it. Everything has a purpose, everything has some sort of a use. Everything serves to enhance the game in one way or another. But, DNA samples.
Think you're a tough guy. I'll show you a tough guy.
No, I don't think I'm a particularly tough guy. In fact, frankly, if you ask me for my definition of tough guy, it would be basically the exact opposite of me.
You motherfucking mutt, you!
Oh, trust me, mate, I've never been that lucky. Never been that fortunate. Not due to a lack of trying, though. I mean, not specifically in that area, but that's not the point. We're not here to have discussions about such things, we're just here to hide in the corner, frankly.
Without me noticing?
I'm just going to sit here for a while and just enjoy the fact that I've succeeded at one tiny thing. And that one tiny thing is figuring out what the heck it is I'm looking for. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right. So we're looking for DNA samples. So I need to find things that he's touched, so that I can find like fingerprints or that sort of thing. I don't know how varied they're going to be, because in both in Guardian Angel and Saber Beast, the items were always the same thing, either a switch or a golden coin or whatever the heck it was we were looking for. And only in Darkness they were always different things, so we might have different things this time. It might be sort of different DNA samples or different bits of evidence. In fact, actually thinking about it, there might not be just DNA samples. They might be hilarious, absolutely hilarious. If it wasn't the horrible reality of living in shared accommodation, I might actually find that funny. Right, never mind. Don't think there'll be anything in here. Just quickly check back in here now I know what I'm looking for, though I did put the UV light through most of this area. No. So, I mean, DNA could be evidence of a crime, so it might not just be DNA I'm looking for. I might also be looking for other sorts of things. Did he do something in the bins? Did he do something naughty in the bins, like not take them out? Another horror of shared accommodation. Let's not even get on with it. Let's not even discuss it. Something in the fridge, perhaps? Did he eat somebody else's lunch? What a horrible crime! Frankly, I think all of the murder is a greater horrible crime than whatever else it is he's doing. But never mind. I'll leave that up to the judicial system to figure that much out. I'll just carry on with my vigilante evidence collection. Okay, what have we got in here? Some sort of game hall crossed with a heck of a lot of booze, it seems. That sounds like an excellent combination of things. This off-kilter painting is a less excellent combination of things. Idiot, who needs this much booze? Seriously, even a student couldn't get through this much. Okay, I can't hear him. I don't know where he's gone. The environment isn't as big as I thought it was, which implies that I'm missing a heck of a lot of the samples. Oh, here's one. So it's not just fingerprints. This one looks like, I don't know, some spraying of some fluid. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Oh, gosh. I'm wondering if maybe eventually you could get savvy enough to the map that you wouldn't really need the lighter anymore, and you could just wander around in the dark with the UV light out, waiting for the sample to appear. Like here, for example, under these tenderizing mallets. Okay, he's down there, so I'm going to leave him to his business. I'm going to go back over this way. So we've only found a quarter of them so far, but I think I've been around the vast majority of the map, which implies I've just missed loads. Yes, let me go back down this way in the hope that he's not over this side anymore. Is he over there? Yes, he is, isn't he? That's what that light's got to be. Yeah, there's no way that's anything else. Okay, if I go sprint, yes, I do. I don't know how much that's going to make me more obvious to him, though. Is that just the light? It isn't. It's just bouncing off a couple of cups. That's nothing to be particularly concerned about. The fact that I'm literally spending my evening mopping up the bodily fluids of a random man who's trying to murder me is a bit worrying, but we'll just sweep that under the rug and forget about it for a good long time. Get suspicious of that flicker of light I saw. And, is he up there? No, that light is far too stable to be him. He moves around more than that. But if he's not up here, then where the heck is he? And what's happened to the frame rate, for goodness sake? Okay. No, he's not here. No, he's there. Oh, gosh. Oh gosh, this isn't going to go well, is it? There's no one going to be able to outrun him. He says, immediately outrunning him. I should have more faith in myself. I couldn't have any less, could I? Oh gosh. Okay. I don't know. Oh, here's some more. Oh, there's 2 in here, actually, so they must be randomised. There's no way they put them this close to each other if they weren't. Okay, I guess I'll just wander around a little bit longer and see if I can find any more samples that I've missed due to not having the UV light out. Yes, you can find them inside these little drawers. That's a pain in the backside.
I heard that. You think you can just break in here without me noticing?
Yeah, I do, because you're as blind as a bat, mate.
You're a tough shot. I'll show
Oh,
you, tough
goodness.
guy.
Man alive, I don't really want to have my head this close to a toilet. Right, let me just shut that. There we are. It makes it marginally less awful. Is he gone? Yes, he has. How stupid of him. That wasn't supposed to happen. Sorry about that. Oh dear, man alive. This is fun. I'm not convinced this is fun for the reason it's meant to be fun, because it seems to be fun because it's a little bit broken at the minute, because like the AI for the bad guy doesn't seem to work quite perfectly yet. So admittedly it's a lot more advanced than the AI that's been used in the previous games by these developers, so I can certainly understand it being a little bit rough around the edges, especially given that this is still a demo. Right, let me carry on searching around. How many have I found so far? 6. I found half of them. So I think well obviously we're halfway there, so let me carry on searching for a little bit longer and see if I can find anything else. Oh gosh. Oh dear. A spillage. Lovely. I don't know how much I'm being paid for this, but my giddy aunt, it's not enough. However much it is, it's not enough. Oh dear. There's a boarded up room in here. I don't know what that's all about. They've been boarded up from the inside as well, which is a little bizarre. Means they must have gone inside, boarded it up, and then sort of clambered out through the gaps in the boards, which is a little bit bizarre. Bit of an odd thing to do with your Thursday afternoon. But then, look at what I'm doing with my Thursday afternoon. Perhaps I'm not one to judge. That was a very sneaky, hard to find little one. But never mind. It has been found, and that's what matters. I need to go back and search that original area. The problem is well, it's not really a dead end, because I can drop down into that area of torturous dungeons. No, he's not there. Good. Good, because I didn't actually check these the first time around. But I need to. There's only 3 left. Again, this would be an excellent... funny. Right, yes. This is probably where the last... I wish I stopped walking into things. This is probably where the last few are. Yes! Oh, good! A stain by the bed and a stain by the toilet. Great. Absolutely marvellous. Right, now. I don't think that is an indication that he's close or about to murder me. That just means that I'm close to winning. If I remember... Oh, very close to winning, in fact. If I remember, both Saber Beast and Enemy Darkness work that way. What? Okay, and now we're going to do a scene like at the end of Arkham Knight and get given a gun. Okay, I'm not very good at shooters. Really?
Tony, are you sure you're ready for this? Yes, Dion. Remember, we need you to sit.
Ah, dear. It's like in the Old West. The two gunslingers approach from either side of town. They both shoot each other. Giddy up. Right, never mind. I'll just do it all over again, I suppose. Giddy up. At least I know what I'm frickin' doing now. Yes, I can sort of tell. I can sort of tell. You quite literally left your mark, both in graffiti and in overly enjoying yourself in between doing a bit of work. I can tell, my friend. I have to take a very long shower after this.
Asshole! Eat, run, you fat fuck!
Tony, are you sure you're ready for this? Yes, Dion. Remember.
Busting my balls here. Son of a bitch!
Tony, you do know it wasn't a part of your job description to kill. I'm sorry, sir. My options were limited. Well, nevertheless, we've had forensics study the body and the samples that you collected for us. Quite frankly, we're stumped. None are a direct match to Edwardo. What? I shot Edwardo. The corpse was him. I'm sure of it. Must be a relative. A secret twin brother of some kind. There are similarities to the samples, but not enough to prove.
Say goodnight!
That took about an hour and 40 minutes. Right, where do I even begin? I don't know. Sorry. Sorry. That was a lot more draining than I expected it to be, but given the history of these developers, I probably should not have been expecting a peaceful evening of fun. It's, if you are the sort of person that enjoyed Save a Beast and Only in Darkness and Guardian Angel, then there's a lot that you'll still like in this one. Are you complaining about things? Yes, you are. That's good. Goodness. surprised she lasted this long. Anyway, yes, there's a lot that you'll like in this. It has that same kind of core gameplay mechanic. And obviously it's different because the enemy is not just perpetually chasing you as in all the previous ones. The enemy has a more sort of a search pattern. His search pattern isn't perfect. I think probably due to the complexities of the environment, in the sense of all the doors that can be opened or half opened, and all the like the little cupboard doors which can sometimes interfere with the way he moves around. That makes it a little bit more tricky for him to move around sometimes. And while there isn't as much strategy in terms of how the enemy works as there was in Saber Beast, there is a lot of similarity in terms of how the environment works. Because rather than trying to exploit the enemy, you have to try and exploit the environment, because he picks up on the amount of sound that you make. And some areas, like this area here that you can see here in the menu screen, the sort of underground basement brewery kind of area, is a very quiet area to explore because there's no doors and there's no cupboards and things like that. Then you've got the sort of the upstairs rooms, or like the wine tasting rooms, and the room with the fridge in it. Those are a little bit noisier, but they're still relatively quiet. And then over on the far side of the map, you have those two little corridors with the foursome of rooms, little hotel rooms there, which are very noisy because there's lots of drawers and doors and cupboards and bathroom doors and bedroom doors that you need to open. So you need to be very careful about how you balance it, because what took up quite a lot of my time was me going into those little hotel rooms and then just checking out all four of them, then going to the next area and checking out the next four of them in a row, which is you're basically creating a huge period of time. You're making a massive amount of noise, and then he just patrols that area. He doesn't seem to wander off anywhere else, which led to situations where I would just sit in a corner and just wait while he patrolled up and down the corridor for like 5 minutes on end, just waiting for basically nothing to happen, because he just wouldn't leave. He wouldn't get tired and leave eventually. Which was one thing that I was going to criticise about this, because it seemed like the game wasn't very active, because in all the previous games, whenever something went wrong, it was about running away. This time it's about hiding. And while it's good that it's innovating and it's doing something different, absolutely, you don't just want the same thing rehashed over and over again with a bit of reskilling. At the same time, if what you end up doing in order to win, or to survive even, is just sticking your head in a corner and waiting, that isn't quite so much fun. But I think you can probably avoid that if you're a little bit more careful in spreading out how much noise you make, because that seems to draw him to you and cause him to circle around the areas that are making a lot of noise. So unless you get out of those little hotel rooms before he turns up, which is quite difficult, then then you'll get stuck there and you'll just have to sit there and wait forever, and eventually he will find you one way or the other. So, I mean, it's brutally tough, but at the same time still quite fair. I don't know if it's quite as fair as games like Saber Beast were, but excuse me. I apologise if the sound has just died for you in terms of the menu screen. Don't worry about that. It's just another quibble of this setup I have to use here. The hell was I talking about? Oh yes, it is fair. I think the only thing that makes it a little bit unfair is like glitches occurring with him, but that is probably just because of like the pathfinding and, as I said before, the complex nature of the environment. But it has that same moment in it when you're like 11 out of 12 samples collected and you're hiding in a corner and he's just on the other side of the door, and every cell in your body is screaming, don't find me, just walk away and let me win. It has that same moment of dread in it, and at the very end of it, at the very cusp of victory, where I was hiding under that table and waiting for him to appear in the doorway to shoot him, which I think is probably the best tactic, is to get under a table, because it seems like he kind of looks in horizontal directions, but you have the advantage that you can sort of angle your sight, which means you can get under a table and sort of shoot upwards a bit, while he can't. It makes it a lot harder for him to see you at that instant. And as was proven with the first time I got the gun, he only needs a second to kill you. So, yeah, there's that. Yes, but in that moment, when I was hiding under the table, you have that... Everything relies on this moment. It's like the lottery numbers are being called out, and the first 5 are the same as yours, and then the 6th one is coming, and you're just thinking, if it is, this means everything, and if it's not, then all of this has been for nothing. It still has that moment of heart-throbbing, everything relies on this instant, and if I screw it up, everything will go back to square one moment, which I think is probably the kind of the apex of the experience in these sorts of games that this developer makes, which is probably what a lot of people seek when they play them. And it still has that, which is the important thing. So this additional member of the family is certainly keeping up that tradition. I think the only thing that I would complain about is the death sequence, because when he shoots you and everything goes grey and you start rolling over, that just lasts a tiny bit too long, because once you're dead, you want to get on with your next attempt as quick as possible. And if Saber Beast was fair and kind about one thing, it was at least getting the deaths over with quickly so you could get on with it. And possibly that's another thing that I would mention, is that each attempt here is longer. Like, this took fewer attempts, but each attempt was longer than previous games, because I suppose due to the inherent nature of the stealthing mechanics, you have to be more slow and meticulous and steady in what you're doing. You can't rush through things, unlike Saber Beast, which is very much about rushing as much as is physically possible, but also balancing rushing with not allowing the enemies to kill you. This obviously is the absolute inverse of that. You have to not rush in order to prevent the enemies from killing you, which I suppose lends itself to the attempts being slightly longer, which again you could say increases the danger of the death, because the more time you've spent on it, the more there is at risk of being lost. But anyway, I've been prattling on for far longer than I have any right to. That was Edwardo, or the first bit of Edwardo, or the demo for it, or whatever the hell it is. All I know is that it's eaten up the vast majority of my evening. But never mind, it's good to see another game by these developers. Good to see that they're still keeping the pedigree very high, and hopefully when the rest of this comes out, the pathfinding and the accuracy of the AI will be improved on a little bit, which I think could mop up the few little tiny problems that are in this. And yes, so the death sequence could be shortened. That might be a bit nice. But anyway, that's enough prattling from me. I'm going to let you get on with the rest of your life now, so thank you very much for joining me this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Look after each other, and good night.